Hello, this is Jess. Week 13 picks for the NFL. It's a big week of football. A lot of elimination going on. Playoffs are getting ready to start taking shape as teams win and lose and get shuffled around inside each division. And so we'll go right into my picks for the week 13 in the NFL. Thursday night game tonight, Redskins and Cowboys. I think that the Cowboys have a shot. I'm going to pick them. Both teams 5 and 6, possible elimination from the playoffs. Whoever wins or loses this game, it's a division rivalry. But I think the Cowboys should have an edge. And hope that they can pull it off. The next game, Chiefs and the Jets. I'm going with the Jets. The Chiefs are just have become lackluster over the last 3 or 4 games, and the Jets still are in contention for possibly a wild card in the playoffs, but it's a must-win for them to do so. And I think they have a good shot against this, like I said, lackluster Chiefs football team that started out strong, and they've just sort of fallen off by the wayside, and having a tough go at it. It's an important game for the Chiefs, but I think the Jets are going to pull that off. Patriots and the Bills, we'll keep that short and simple. The Patriots, Tom Brady, top passing yards in the NFL this year. They look unstoppable, and I just don't see the Bills having much opportunity to slow that juggernaut down. So I'm going with the Patriots on that one. The next game, excuse me. Excuse me. A little bit of coffee, calm my throat down. Back to the picks. The next game, Broncos and Dolphins. I just have to pick the Dolphins just simply because the Broncos just don't show nothing for me. They don't do nothing for me. At least the Dolphins are still trying to play football. So we'll just keep that one short and simple. The Dolphins over the Broncos. 49ers at the Bears. Both teams probably out of the playoffs, but I just think that the Bears are a better football team, and look for them to have a good running game with Howard, and to also let the quarterback work on his newfound connection late in the year with Inman. And so we'll just pick the Bears over the 49ers. Lions and Ravens. Ravens defense is coming on strong, but I think it's a little bit too late for them to they're in contention in the playoffs, but I just think it's a little late for them. They have no offense. The Lions fighting tooth and nail to get a playoff spot, and I think that they probably have a better team than the Ravens at this point in the season. So I picked the Lions over the Ravens. The Vikings and the Falcons next. I picked the Vikings. I don't think that they'll have any issues, even though the Falcons are trying to come back on a strong note. But I think the Vikings have been solid all year and faced a lot of adversity, and they continue to win. And I just picked the Vikings to the defense, especially to contain Matt Ryan. He's had plenty of opportunities. Their record should be a lot better than it is on the Falcons, but they've just faltered. And like I said, I think the Vikings are still together. They're a cohesive unit. I don't see anybody beating them the rest of the year. Again, that's just my opinion. We'll see how it comes out at the end of the day on Sunday. But I picked the Vikings over the Falcons. The Buccaneers and the Packers. I'm going with the Packers. They had a hard a very hard loss to the Steelers. They really played them a good game. The Steelers are a tough team, and the Packers held their own. A last-minute field goal won the game for the Steelers, so I'm looking for that Packer defense to step it up against the Buccaneers. And they have a real long shot, but they still are in the playoff hunt, so it's an important game for the Packers, and we're going to pick them to win. Texans and the Titans. Titans are trying to hold on to their playoff possibilities. Texans are still a good team, even though they lost their star quarterback and different things that have gone on in the organization. But I think the Titans will pull that one out. Like I said, it's a push to the playoffs, and I think the Titans have more to gain by a win, so I'll pick the Titans. Colts and the Jaguars. Jaguars, again, I picked them just because of their dominant defense. Their offense is mediocre at best, but they get a big chance every time they come on the field because the defense contains the other team. And it's going to be a tough one. The Colts have a newfound explosive offense, but I just don't think it'll be enough, and I think that the Jaguars will contain that and give Bortles, the quarterback for Jaguars, an opportunity to put a few points on the board and make the win for the Jaguars. The Browns and Chargers. Chargers are playing some dominating football. The Browns just, anything's possible on any given Sunday, but I just think that the better team in the Browns and Chargers would be the Chargers. I think it was a great performance last week by the Chargers, and I look for them to continue to hold tight and hopefully squeak into the playoffs. So I picked the Chargers over the Browns. The Rams and the Cardinals. I picked the Rams. Explosive offense, strong defense. Cardinals, middle-of-the-line team. Good players on the team. But just think that the Rams are going to dominate that game. And I think it'll be a good margin for them, a victory with 30 points plus for the Rams. I think that we'll see how that turns out, but again, I'm going with the Rams. Giants and the Raiders, just because the controversy with Eli Manning not starting after 210 consecutive starts for the Giants, being benched. I think that right there gives the Raiders an edge. Plus, they're playing in California. And I just think that there's a lot of negativity on the Giants organization with their benching of Eli Manning, so the focus won't be on winning. And I think the Raiders, if they win, still have a slight possibility of making the playoffs on a wild card. So I picked the Raiders. Panthers and the Saints. The Saints had a loss last week after winning, I believe, 8 in a row. Panthers are a good, solid team, but I think the Saints are the better team, and I think they're going to come back off that loss and have a lot of renewed energy to get that victory. So the Saints over the Panthers. Eagles and Seahawks, my team, Seahawks. I think this will be an indication of how things are going to go for the rest of the season for my team, the Seahawks. I think the Eagles are an exceptionally well-balanced team, defensively and offensively. But I think that Russell Wilson for the Seahawks has a couple of surprises in store for them Eagles. And I picked the Seahawks to get the victory. Steelers and the Bengals. Like I said, the Steelers are playing dominant football. You have a lot of weapons on the offense, receiving and running. Just the Bengals are a good solid team, but I think they've just decided to be mediocre this year in their talent pool. The way that they're playing, they have potential to be a tough team, but I think, like I said, this is a different time of the season, playoff time, and the Steelers are intent on giving a message to the rest of the NFL to look out for them, and I think that they will dominate the Bengals in that game. All right, so that's my Week 13 NFL picks, 2017. We'll see how I did, and next week, Week 14, I will have my percentages over the course of my picks from Week 5 till now. It's been a couple of tough weeks, some upsets here and there, but we'll see how I did next week, and that'll at least let me know where I stand on my picks and my little bit of knowledge that I might have about the NFL. Have a great afternoon. Go Seattle.